We shouldn't fear failure. If you fail, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. It just means that you failed at something. You're not a failure, you failed at something. So I say embrace failure, because when you embrace failure, it doesn't become as scary as it once was, right? When you start to say, okay, you know what? I missed it here. So instead of being afraid, get curious. Okay, so what happened there? Why did I fail? What can I learn from this?
Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome to the Multiverse Technology Podcast. Today's guest is Darren Mann, a transformative speaker, coach, project management expert, AI consultant, and entrepreneur. Darren, welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Justin. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm wonderful. I'm excited to get into this conversation. It's a long time coming.
That's right. Yes.
So to get started, if you could kind of help the audience by taking us on your journey, what made you you?
Wow, it's a great question. Great question. I started off in IT, can you believe it, 30 years ago. So 30 years ago, I started off doing IT. I was repairing electronic scales when I started. And so that was a long time ago, 30 years ago, I was doing that. And then I moved into repairing laptop computers, and I did some software development, QA stuff, and moved into business analysis, and then lastly into project management. And I've been a project manager for the last 15 years. And recently, with all of my experience, I became a coach, an entrepreneur. So a coach, speaker, trainer. And, like I said, I've been able to use all of my experience over the years that's helped me to be able to help others through coaching, speaking, and training.
IT 30 years ago. I've been doing IT my whole life, and I feel like it's been that long. What was that like back then? And how did you make that transition into your coaching?
Yeah, when I started off, the operating system that I used was Windows 95. I don't even know if you know about what Windows 95
I know what Windows 3.11 is.
Actually, no, it was Windows 3.1. Windows 3.1, and then we moved to Windows 95. So it was a long time ago. You asked me what was it like?
Yeah.
Technology was different. I mean, it was, our laptops, our phones were big, our laptops were big, our computers were big, and we had small hard drives. And so you had to be very creative with what you installed on your computer back then.
Yeah, I remember those days. I grew up in the 90s with computers and technology back then. It was quite different in the way it was used, how we communicate and show up for people now.
Yes.
We go to now is just so different. How do you utilize that technology to kind of help with your clients and your coaching?
Well, yeah, I use a lot of different technology. I use some AI technology to help with recording sessions and use AI when I record my actual sessions that I do. So as far as my training, I'll use AI to record that. Loom is one of the tools that I use. It's an AI tool. And then that allows me to get the transcript, and then I can look back over things. So I use a lot of different technology. I use Fathom for recording as well. So, and I notice you're using Riverside. I use that as well. So there's so many different technologies that I use.
Yeah, and I use Fathom as well. When I take those recordings, I actually create AIs for my clients, whatever I'm working on, and put them in there so I can just talk to them and figure out what we went over that day and talk back and forth with it. So it helps me remember stuff. Such a good tool nowadays, especially for client work and coaching.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I do. I'm able to go back and, like you said, look at the notes and summarize the notes and kind of go back through things that, whereas before you could forget and you couldn't go back.
I forget stuff all the time without AI. I don't know how I do it without it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to get more into your coaching. So how are you helping people? What kind of coaching are you doing? And what kind of clients are you looking for that as well?
Yeah. So as a coach, I worked with clients that were once like me. I had some struggles earlier in my career, started off in management when I was 25 and didn't have a good go at management when I first started. I actually ended up in a mental hospital because I couldn't handle the stress and everything. And so I'm looking to help people that are sort of struggling in their career. I'm looking to help my former self when I struggled, earlier in my career, and helping them to get through some of those struggles. And so, that's what I'm looking for, is those who are maybe dealing with some fear. the book, and we'll talk about that. I know you're
Yeah.
dealing with some fear and you're going through some real challenges in your career. Those are the types of folks that I like to deal with. So like doubt and unbelief in yourself and imposter syndrome and some of those kinds of things I can help people work through. And I've helped, I've been able to help transform some lives that I've worked with in coaching and also in my training as well.
I love that because I was just talking to someone today about some of those things, but where it relates to people who are working 9 to 5 jobs, that they have such fear because so many people they don't have their own accountability. Their accountability is to that job. They pretty much pay
Mm,
them the money. They do everything for them. It's a comfort zone. They're right there. They have to worry
mm,
about growing or doing anything but growing only within that company, not growing themselves. And I think that's kind of where we have a downfall, and people don't realize they have to grow themselves so they can grow in their companies.
that's right. That's right. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that, Justin, because earlier in my career, if I would look back and say, what did I need that I didn't have? And that would be accountability. I have mentors around me now. I have coaches around me and mentors around me now. And I wish when I was 25 and I had that first management position that I had mentors and people that would hold me accountable, people that I could talk to and say, hey, I'm struggling. How do I get through this? And get some advice from them. So, and that's where I want to be, to be able to help those who are in those positions that they're struggling.
I feel that because I know a lot of times we think that our managers or CEOs are our mentors, but really they're not. They're just there to kind of help you with that job and that's it. And it's really rare to find a mentor and a manager that actually
Yes,
has best um your best in mind, to really think
that's
about you,
right.
to really want to help you and be that person. It's hard to
Yeah.
find that in the 9 to 5. I found it in entrepreneurship for myself,
Yeah.
you know? But I mean, I see how it's a struggle, especially you said put you in a mental hospital. What was the mindset around what was going on there that
In my
caused that?
mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was promoted pretty early in my career. Like I said, I was 25, kind of moved up the ranks pretty quickly. And I think what was happening in my mind was I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know how to, you know, say, you know what, I need some help with this because I moved from I was a really good individual contributor, great at it. But when I moved into management, I was now managing, I went from a team lead where I was managing 2 to 3 people to managing 8 people. And I just didn't know how to manage and not do the work anymore. I was
Ooh.
struggling with that. So I think that was the biggest thing right there is just not being able to ask for help.
I love how you mentioned to manage and not do the work anymore, because
Mm,
delegation is hard for any of us, even in a work environment or
mm,
home environment.
that's right.
Understanding when, where, and how to hand things off to and to who. 'Cause
That's
we always
right.
feel that like the way we do it's the best. I can do this. We don't know how to kind of transition that.
That's right. Yeah.
In learning how to hand off work, how did you start learning that? Did you learn it at that job or once you left that job on your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I think when I learned it when I left that job, I left that job and went to another company where I was again more of like a lead, where I had maybe one or two that reported to me. But
Like your
then
sweet spot.
yeah, and then when I moved on and I moved into project management, I had to learn to delegate. So I started reading a lot, got some mentors, got some people around me that had a bit more experience than me. And like you said, with personal growth, I really took to personal growth. I still do. I read every day, learn every day. So I think that was one of the things that really helped me too. And it's kind of like when you read a book, books can also be your mentors as well, because you
Yeah.
can dig into what's happening in someone else's life and what they've been through in their journey, and they can help you along the way as well. So yeah,
I hear that one a lot. Like, in order to not make the same mistakes or less mistakes and to get ahead faster, is to read books on people who've already done the journey.
that's right.
But sometimes
That's
I know
right.
I fell into this category sometimes where I would read the book, but not know what the hell I was reading at the same time or how to
Mm,
interpret it or what it meant to me at that stage in
mm,
my life. I didn't understand how to interpret it to where I was because the book would be so far ahead sometimes. And I guess like you said, like having a mentor or a coach help kind of bridge
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and yeah, having a mentor, I read recently that in a book that mentors collapse time. So if you
Ooh,
want to get somewhere faster, have a mentor that's already been there, done that, and they will
yes.
help you get there faster, right?
Yeah,
Um,
collapse timeline.
yeah, yeah,
I love that. I know myself, I know probably our audience too. We're on this journey. We're trying to figure things out. Like either we're working 9 to 5 or we're an entrepreneur. And sometimes I know that being an entrepreneur is not for everyone, but a lot of this self work that you're talking about, there's a lot of things that not entrepreneurs go through, but not really necessarily people in 9 to 5 jobs sometimes. It's such a good thing to learn and to understand. It helps you also see that maybe that job you're at may not have been for you. Or you like you
right.
did, you went to the next job, you learned skills at the other job that's not there. Because they weren't empowering you, they weren't being supportive. A lot of
Yeah.
people get stuck there sometimes, not understanding how do I get out of this? How do I
Mhm.
remove myself so I can find my happiness? That kind of brings me to the coaching you do and the people you work with. I know you just wrote a book.
I did. Yeah, it's called Rise
Yeah.
Above Routine, Embracing Life Beyond Your Comfort Zone.
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to dive into that, how that is helping people, and if you could kind of explain some of the important concepts in there, may be helpful to some of us.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, one of the things that I talk about in the book is called, one of the chapters is called Embracing Failure. And what I cover in Embracing Failure is helping people understand that we shouldn't fear failure. If you fail, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. It just means that you failed at something. Right? You're not a failure, you failed at something. So I say embrace failure because when you embrace failure, it doesn't become as scary as it once was, right? When you start to say, okay, you know what? I missed it here. So instead of being afraid, get curious. Okay, so what happened there? Why did I fail? What can I learn from this? And so I talk about that in the book about embracing failure. Yeah, and another thing I guess I talk about in the book, and we talked a little bit about this before, is asking for what you want. Now, that was something I really struggled with earlier in my career. And so I've learned to ask for what I want. And I'll give a quick story,
Yes.
a coaching story. Uh, I was working at an organization and I was a coach there. I was a coach. I was part-time entrepreneur and I was working at this organization. But the organization allowed me to coach and do those kinds of things. So I reached out to this VP, his executive assistant, to ask if he would be willing for me to coach him or someone on his team. And so the meeting was scheduled for 2 weeks out. And I didn't, but I was thinking of canceling it because there was a rejection. There's a fear of rejection. What if he says no? What if he thinks I'm stupid? All those kinds of thoughts are running through my mind. But I didn't cancel it. I said, nope, I'm just going to stick with this. I know my meeting's in 2 weeks. Wait until the meeting happens.
I've been
Had the
there.
meeting with this executive. And to my surprise, he says, you know what? My team, we need some coaches. Can you come speak at our next meal? And I was shocked. I was like, wow. So that taught me that you have to ask for what you want. A lot of times we don't get what we want because we don't ask for it. And people can't read our minds, right? We have to be willing to ask. Yeah.
I feel like people don't know how to communicate anymore. It's like a
Yeah.
lost skill that we
Yes.
desire so badly, but it's not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another fear. That's another thing that I talk about. And it really pushes you to get, it's a simple thing, a simple concept, but how many people actually do it? How many people just swallow what they want to ask for and don't get out of their comfort zone and ask for it?
Hey, my fellow humans, sorry to interrupt your video, but if you're looking for more ways to protect and empower your healthcare practice, we would love to help. At ITCMD, our mission is to simplify IT, boost security, and support your compliance journey with a human touch so you can focus on caring for your patients. Want to see how easy IT and cybersecurity can be? Schedule a free consult or check out our resources at iteecmd.net. Let's build a safer, stronger future together. Okay, bye. Love that. No, I've been there myself, and it's really hard and it's tough to understand. Like you said, to be curious. A
Mhm.
lot of us forgotten how to be curious, how to ask questions, and like a lot of us could have been bred out of us to be quiet, to do what you're told, stay where you
Yeah.
are, you'll be taken care of, stay comfortable, don't grow. It's everything. The matrix, I call it, you know? Like the impossible is now possible. You've tuned your frequency to the universe to what you want and what you want to get out of life. A lot of us, I feel, is just very lost in translation nowadays.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. That was a major breakthrough for me when I learned just that concept of asking for what you want. It really transformed my life, really.
Like, I can ask? What do you mean? You learn a lot of that entrepreneurship. Like, you don't know until you don't know unless you ask.
That's
You
right.
don't know what you don't know until you find out, and then you know.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
know? And
yeah.
it's just speaking up, using your voice, finding where you belong in this world, and then finding a coach that you can work with. Because not all coaches are the same. Like all people
That's
aren't
right.
the same.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
to find someone that's been there, done what we're trying to achieve and overcome,
Hmm.
so they
Yeah,
can help us.
yeah. That's right. That's right. I think you asked about me being a coach, and I think one of the things that I help people to do, it's two pronged. I help people to break free from whatever limiting belief they have, and number two, I help them to grow. So, the first thing that I think you have to do though is a lot of people have some emotional wounds or some things from their past that they
Oh
haven't
yeah.
worked through. So you have to get through that first, and then once you get through that, then you can help a person grow. And that's really that's what I specialize in, is helping people break free and grow.
I love how you said the wounds because that dark shadow, Carl Jung calls it our shadow self. There's so many
Mm,
shadows that are built up inside of us that help
yeah,
us stay comfortable and they limit us. Our limiting beliefs pile up. And we have so many of those layers like an onion to peel away in order to
yeah.
even accept growth, to understand we need growth, to it's okay to grow.
Hmm. That's right. That's right. And it's funny that you say that because a lot of times we don't give ourselves permission to be who we really are, right? Yeah.
And that's a powerful statement. We don't. Like, what do you mean I need permission? Yes, you have to give yourself permission. It's okay. No one's holding a gun to your head.
Yeah.
Accept, move, grow, create, compound over time.
Hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough sometimes because, like we were talking earlier, there's a lot of things as human beings that we go through in life, and that even to get to that point of just wanting to say be better in our business, we have to unpeel the onion of certain things we've gone through, certain traumas in our life that we keep re-traumatizing ourselves with in
Mm,
order to get to being that person we want to be.
yeah. 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 It's true. It's so true. Mm, you know, as a child, went through. I live in Canada now, but I grew up in the United States, and we moved a lot. And I didn't realize, I think we moved maybe 20 times when I was
Me
a child.
too.
Yeah. And I didn't realize how much that affected me emotionally until I became an adult. And I ended up moving to Canada when I was 24. But the trauma that the moves created, I didn't realize how impactful those were on my
Mm.
mentality. And it's only until, and probably into my 40s where I realized that, wow, why can't I sell? Why do I want to keep going different places? Why can't I just, why is there this drive and pressure to do more or to move and to be promoted and all these different things? What's driving all of that? And then I realized it had a lot to do with not having a stable home environment, right? And the moving and a lot of, going from different places, going to different schools and trying to acclimate in different places. And I think that's, yeah. And a lot of people deal with that.
Damn, you just kind of blew my mind right now because I went through the same thing, but never put those pieces together. That could be the reason
Mm,
behind part of my
mm,
drive and not being able to kind of focus on certain things for the longest time.
mhm,
Done so
mhm.
much work to get to where I am, but I never really put that together that would cause such uncertainty and ability to focus and get things done.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
you
Well,
do to overcome that? Like, what process did you go through? Are you still
yeah.
going through it? Like,
Still going through it. I think one of the biggest things I've done, Justin, is reflection. I spent a lot of time just thinking and reflecting I have a tool. It's
Ooh.
part of my next cohort, not Rise Above Routine, but I have this tool called the Healing and Growth Tools card. And what it is, it's a card that has 10 different topics. So one is if you go through a failure, it asks you two questions. What is this failure here to teach me? And there's another question. I can't think of the question right now. But it has different tools on it. And it really helps you to reflect. Let me bring up I have my screen here, and I'll
Yeah, I'd
bring up
love to
some of the.
see.
Yeah, you can see that now.
Yes.
So this is the Healing and Growth Tools card, and what this is, it's a card that it asks certain questions to help you reflect. So let's just say that you have a hard time telling a person no, right? So there's this. So that on the left hand side, we talk about um, the areas where you need to heal. On the right hand side, we're talking about growth areas. Saying no, what am I saying yes to that drains me? And what boundary do I need to honor? Right. So you kind of answer these questions, you go through, you answer the questions, and it helps you to understand. And every time this comes up, you answer the questions again, and it'll help you understand what's at the root of that. Right. Because that's what you want to do. You want to get to the root of it. Another one that I really like um, is a self-compassion one, number 10. What would I say to a friend in my situation? So what this is when you're beating yourself up, you're putting yourself down. What would I say to a friend in my situation? And can I offer that same kindness to myself? So you write it out and you reflect and it helps you to sort of, work through whatever the emotions are that you're going through, right? I talked a little bit about this. Number 5, get curious, not critical. What emotions am I really feeling? And what might this emotion be trying to tell me? So it's a tool to help you work through some of those difficult emotions.
I've done some of this stuff a while ago. When I first started, it was just so hard to think of anything. I didn't know what I was feeling. I never asked myself questions. I'd look at stuff like this and be like, this is too much work. I'll do it later,
Yeah.
But then, like, as my journey went on, I realized to start asking these questions is to start
Mhm.
that journey. It becomes
Yeah.
very powerful.
Yeah.
But at
It
first, you
is.
don't
It
want to
is.
do it. You're scared at first.
It is work. It is
It
work, but
is.
it can be transformative as well. And I think that was one of the things that really helped me work through a lot of those emotions. Of course, I also had a counselor as well. And actually, when I was seeing a counselor, I was inspired to put something like this together because of all the insights that I was getting from the counseling sessions.
That can be a very powerful tool. But like we
Yeah,
said, as long as you're willing to do the work.
that's right. You have to do the work. It's not going to come to you just by osmosis. You have to be willing to do the work.
Yeah, and look, like I
Yeah,
was saying earlier, like when I started doing this, my capacity was like really small. I was like,
yeah,
no, I can't do this. Leave me alone. Stop. But
yeah,
then like I just kept doing stuff like this and my capacity kind of grew. Before I knew it, doing this was easy. I'm like, oh, let me answer these questions. Cool.
yeah,
Ask myself this every day. Let me reflect back into myself. Let me
yeah,
stand in front of the mirror, look at myself without judgment, but with love. And it was
yeah.
hard.
It is. It's hard work. I like what John Maxwell says. He says this. He says, learning to pause allows growth to catch up with you. So when we pause, we're able to see things we weren't able to see when we were going through the situation, right?
Ooh, I hit really hard right now 'cause I'm on that journey. For the first time myself recently, I'm able to sit and quiet and do my yoga and quiet and not
Mm,
and it's kind of like meditation for me. For the
yeah.
longest time, I couldn't just sit and listen, and I had to be doing something. I had to be like TV had to be on, music had to be on. I'm learning
Mm,
to kinda like just sit now, and it's just so calm and so peaceful. It took so long to get there. And
yeah.
I could do about 10 minutes, and I'm like, too quiet, help." But it is very powerful just to sit and pause and just let everything catch up. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
In this world we live in right now, how fast paced, all the noise around us, if we can just cut that out and just really home in on what things that matter to us, it's just
Mm,
so powerful to be able to connect back with yourself,
yeah.
connect with the family and friends that you love, and then find the job that you really want to be doing by
Mhm.
helping people.
Yeah. Man, this is such a powerful conversation, Justin. I appreciate your vulnerability.
Yes.
One of the things that I was going to say was that a lot of people have a hard time being alone with themselves.
Yes.
Um, And I started about a year, maybe 2 years ago. Started doing some mirror work where you look in the mirror and you affirm yourself. And at first, I found that being really strange. Looking in the mirror, saying that I'm worthy and that I'm lovable and all these different things. But I
Yeah.
found over time, I started to believe it. I started to see myself differently when I looked in the mirror. So I looked in the mirror before, I saw a different person. But now I see, oh, this is who I really am. And I think that's what can be the challenge sometimes is people don't want to spend time with themselves because they don't like themselves. They hate themselves.
It's so true. I used to stare into the mirror and I didn't like who I saw from the physical appearance to just who I was as a person who'd lost his humanity to drugs and alcohol. And it just took
Mm,
time for my humanity to catch up with my identity, through all the healing and things I was trying to remember of not just become, but remember who I am, that I am love, I am compassion, like
mm,
that I am statement. It was just so hard to stare at myself. And now I see myself, like you said, it's just like, I love you. Look at you, good stuff. You know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It's like this weird duality of your reality that your subconscious like grabs you
Mm,
into this understanding. And you just don't see who you are and what you can so much become. It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
hard. There's so many
it is.
outer things out there that telling you to do this, say this, be this, have this,
Mhm,
grow this. What
yeah.
about you? What do you want? It's a hard
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to face yourself sometimes. When you don't know yourself, it's hard to face yourself. And another statement, you must know yourself to grow yourself. You have to, you can do a lot of reading and you can do a lot of these things, but if you don't know yourself, what are you growing into? Who are you becoming?
You're becoming someone else's dream, someone
Yeah.
else's purpose,
Yeah.
someone else's life.
Yeah.
And I love how you said that with the books because I used to read so many books and I'm like, okay, I read all these books, I watch all these podcasts, I do all this work, but nothing is changing. I still feel like shit. Why isn't this working? I really wasn't giving myself the chance to really sit with myself to really find out who I was. I wasn't giving myself that permission like we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird. People
So
think it's like
important.
woo woo sometimes, but it's the universe, how we're connected as one. It's the quantum mechanics of life. I always tell
Mhm.
people we
Yeah.
are powerful.
Yeah.
We forget how powerful we are. We need people like yourselves to kind of help us remember that sometimes. Help us
Mhm.
remember who we are, what we're here to do. Help us
That's right.
find and remember our purpose to be of service to other humans.
That's right. That's right.
I want to thank you so much, Darren, for coming on here today. It's been a really good conversation with you. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yes, I have enjoyed it as well. Thank you for, like I said, your vulnerability. I appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you too. Actually helped me really think about some stuff, like the whole moving around thing. I'm gonna remember that now for myself, all that moving and what it caused and what it did. And I never really thought about that. I knew it did something. I just wasn't sure the reflection just wasn't really there until now.
Mm,
I appreciate
you're
you.
welcome. Yes.
Yes. If people want to reach out to you and they want to like to work with you, where can they find you?
Well, my website is pretty simple, bmancoaching.com. Bman, so the letter D, my first initial, last name man, coaching.com. You can reach me there at my website. I'm actually going to be having a live training that's coming up on November the 10th based on the Rise Above routine that we talked about, Rise Above Routine, Embracing Life Beyond Your Comfort Zone. It's going to be on November 10th, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. I guess we'll maybe have the link in the
Yes,
comments.
I'll put a note down there.
Yeah, yeah, we'll put the link in the comments for it. Yeah, so look forward to seeing you there. I'm going to share some more of the concepts that we talked about, go into more detail on them. We'll talk about all the principles. And if you're really struggling to get out of that comfort zone that you find yourself in, join me for the training. I'm going to help you to break free from some of the barriers that have been holding you back.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you so much. One last question for you before we go today.
Mm,
What does it mean to you to be a human being?
that's a powerful question. What does it mean to me to be a human being? It's interesting when you actually break down human being. I think to be a human being, we are human beings and not human doings. And what I mean by that is a human being is a being who is we are to be before we are to do. So we talked about the I am.
Ooh,
We talked about,
yeah.
I am kind, I am love, I am gentle. Everything comes from who you are internally. Everything that we do, it comes from who we are internally. So if we have some wounds internally, that's what we're gonna display to the world. If we have some, if we are healed areas, that's what we're gonna display. So I think human being really means focusing on being who you were created to be as a person. And I mean, we can go into all kinds of different concepts there, but I don't think we have the time for it. But it's really about understanding, discovering your humanness and who you are as a person. Humans are different than other species, right? We are different. And I think we have to come to understand that. And once we understand who we are, then we can really blossom and become all that we're called to be. But I think it starts internally first. Yeah.
I love that. And I love how you said it starts internally. It really is. It's an internal war, struggle at times,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
it eventually can be very peaceful and very calming. But you
Yes.
have to be and do the work.
That's right. That's right. And so that's what we're talking about. You were mentioning earlier that you had a hard time with just sitting and being quiet.
Yeah.
And that's because there was something in your soul that was wrestling around, but you're learning to sort of calm yourself and be
Yeah.
at peace with yourself. And I
Yeah.
think that's what human being is all about.
Yes. I love that because I haven't felt so peaceful in a long time and so calm. I know everyone's journey is different, but I've been learning the duality of life. 'Cause we're spiritual beings having a human
Hmm.
experience. And I'm learning that the God aspect, whatever that looks like for everyone is different. And whatever relationship you have with God, whatever that looks like. I'm putting those two together of human and God, this understanding. It's a powerful thing for me on
Hmm.
this journey. Everyone has to find out what that is and means to them. Okay, it is different for everyone. Your spiritual
Hmm.
journey and your human journey. Well, thank you so much. It's a good way to end. Thank you so much again for coming on here. I appreciate you.
Thank you.